European sovereignty, the need for European sovereignty. Defending Europe is not defending something abstract or the sort of dilution of our own sovereignties. Rather, it's noting that given the great changes, the transformations, given these times, we need an even stronger sovereignty in what we have, something that is complementary but does not substitute our own sovereignty, something that in the face of migration, the lack of security in the planet, environmental and social changes, we can come forward with responses. That's the sovereignty I'm talking about, European sovereignty. It is this that I believe in.
Sur ce sujet,
You've done a lot on this particular topic, and I pay tribute to you. But between now and the end of parliamentary term, spring 2019, we need concrete results on a number of points. Migration. We need to unblock the poison debate on relocation and Dublin. We need to build external and internal solidarity in Europe, because that's what Europe needs. Therefore, I propose we create a European program that will directly provide financial support to local authorities that host and integrate refugees. Secondly, taxing the digital. Following on the Commission's proposal, we'll create a short-term tax that will put an end to the most shocking excesses. I support such a proposal. It is essential, and furthermore, I hope, pave the way for own resources for the future budget.
la réforme de l'Union.
Reforming the economic monetary union is another essential area for work before the end of the parliamentary term. We need a roadmap that will allow us to have a staged approach to banking union and creating a budgetary capacity that will allow for stability and convergence in the Eurozone. Finally, what keeps us together isn't just a treaty or currency, it is a feeling of belonging, a culture, in other words. And here I could cite the creation of European universities. That's making real progress. Or there's Erasmus. But I'd like to emphasize something that's still being worked on here. And there's a house that's copyright, the protecting creators and artistic creation. This flourishing living cultures is part of the vital diversity of our continent, part of our genius. So on these four fronts, this Parliament has a very special responsibility, and you, I think, have grasped what France's position is on this. But over and above this, we need to build this full European sovereignty to protect our citizens in terms of internal, external, and defense security. We've made a lot of progress in recent months, and here I pay tribute to the work that is underway in this House on the European Defence Fund. Given all the tensions we currently face with some of our neighbours, such as Russia, Europe has shown a united face that bespeaks its sovereignty. We must continue down this avenue. Sovereignty is also economic and trade sovereignty. Here too, we've shown unity, and I welcome the progress made in recent months on economic and trade sovereignty to defend our strategic sectors in investment. This at the Commission's initiative, an important step forward. And on the trade front, I'm sure we'll come back to this, we have a united position based on voluntary joining in, but which also protects our legitimate interests and the interests of our workers and consumers. I believe in this economic sovereignty, which is based on competitiveness, which countries build up through their reforms. There's also, of course, solidarity, which we must develop our economic monetary union. And, of course, we must have a more realistic trade policy. This is all work we must continue with. Sovereignty means climate and energy sovereignty, too. That, too, is essential. We must quickly open up debate to increase the European contribution to implementing the Paris Agreement. We are completing the discussions on the energy and climate package, but it is clear that we must move on to a new phase. A number of you committed to this, and I hope that over the next few months we will reopen the debate on a flat rate or a price for carbon. France is in favor of a minimum price, and France is in favor of a CO2 border tax too. It's not a technical instrument. It's the way to ensure a credible energy transition. The fourth kind of sovereignty we need to take further is health and food. In our policies, in our budget choices of today and tomorrow, we must support food sovereignty, quality food sovereignty. That's what our citizens expect of us. That is what we owe them. It's good for our economies and our regions, and it's also a choice that is consistent with our longer-term commitments.